right. And with that, we'll welcome Collin Morikawa to the Rocket Classic Media Center. Collin, we'll just open it up. Just thoughts on being back here. Your previous appearance, you were in a playoff here, so maybe just open up with just sharing some memories of what you remember from 2023 and being in that playoff.
Honestly, pretty good memories. I mean, 23 was, not a rough year, but at a time where I wasn't playing great, and to be able to come out and put together some good golf to then go through the rest of the season and into playoffs. I mean, that's what I'm looking for right now as well. So it's obviously nice to come back to a city where a lot of fans come out, you get a lot of support, and it's an old school golf course, which I love. I love when it's different, and that's where we get a lot of different changes throughout the year. But coming off a couple weeks where you have Oakmont, very, very challenging, to an old school golf course where you're going to have to make some birdies. It's exciting, and you just got to have to execute the shots because there will be some low scores out here.
And then maybe just a brief synopsis for the folks in the room of just your season to date and where things are at sort of in this last month.
Yeah, it started off great. Even though I haven't won yet this year, it started off very strong, and over the past, let's call it 2 months, just haven't been amazing. And I can point at certain parts of my game, but to me, it all comes down to my ball striking. Even though the numbers look good, that's what frees me up, and that's what allows me to go and play golf. And I'm just trying to work on that cut and getting it back to where I want it. But that's what's golf. We work so hard to make this game, so precise. Like we're talking about 1-2 degrees that, we drive ourselves crazy, but that's what we do. At the core root of it, like we're just really good at controlling little minute movements throughout our swing, and it's finding, what works. So we're on a good path, even though the results haven't shown. It's just very motivating to keep coming out and play well the rest of the year.
Awesome. And with that, we'll open it up for questions.
Sweet.
This might be quick. We'll go right here in the front.
Colin, Nick Manis with Crane's Detroit Business. You spoke about calling this an old school golf course. You may know next week it'll close for a renovation. It's going to, I think, take out some trees, remove the pond on 14. Any thoughts on how the course plays after a renovation like that?
Yeah. Look, I love the course the way it is. And I get people want to restore stuff, but it's a great course. It's a great course. Like people can talk about the bones, but from a golf course aspect, I think the members, I'm sure, love it. And taking out trees. Like I talked about it at Oakmont. Like I love trees. Trees are what outlines for me how you picture through holes. And it's very hard to make golf courses look amazing when you take out trees because everything kind of blends in. But you never know. It could also go the other way, and it could be great. But I think when guys, and I know players that come here this week, there's not really complaints. We know you're going to have to shoot low, but we enjoy the golf course. We enjoy it how it is. And, I didn't actually hear it until I was playing yesterday, and one of the old pros was walking around, and I think he was taking it in, and I actually saw him on 14. I actually didn't know 14 they're taking out the pond. But yeah, I don't know if it's to modernize games, why there are a lot of renovations on making it old, but that's not my department. So
we're going to come over to the left side.
Collin, there's some Caddie news for you. You're going to change again to a former teammate. So tell me, what is it that you're looking for from a caddy and from your game here going forward?
Yeah, I think I'm still learning that. Look, when I split with JJ Jakovac, I had him except for one tournament my entire career. And you get used to that. And JJ's an amazing caddy, and I wish him all the best. So when I leave that, it's a process for me to find because I only know one way. And I think people, they're going to be surprised. But the way I put it is, just because two people are great at what they do doesn't mean they're going to be great together. And I think Joe's an amazing caddy, but I think just the way we kind of saw things, or just day to day how we kind of went about it, we're just a little bit on a different page. And that doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but for me, it just didn't feel right. And I have to explore other options. And I knew that coming in. I knew it was going to be a great start, and it was going to be a fun thing for me to test out that I knew I put myself in. But at the end of the day, you don't know how you're going to be, because we spend more time with them than anyone else in the world, honestly. Like, I spend more time with them than my wife sometimes. So it's, it's a true relationship. And look, I wish, JJ and Joe all the best. But it's for right now, it just felt like I needed to fill in. I got my buddy on the bag who played at Berkeley with me, who's actually still playing on the Corn Ferry. So I appreciate him doing that. And we're going to go out and have a blast.
We're going to go to the right side again.
Yeah, Collin, just where this schedule, the tournament falls in the schedule. Between signature events, between majors. What kind of a challenge is it for elite players such as yourself, the Scotty Schefflers, to try to carve out time to come to this tournament? Because it's been a challenge to get the higher ranked players to come here.
Yeah, it's look, we have, I don't even know how many tournaments we have a year, but we have a lot, right? And we fill up every weekend essentially from January through August. And as a top player, as we're talking about them, you have to build your schedule pretty early, because one, we don't like to play 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. We have our ones that we love to go play. And but like for me, 2 years ago, I added this, and it was so refreshing, because you get to see a lot of other players, but you get to see a new city. You get to see what they're all about. You get to see how we're giving back to the community. I know the First Tee is doing a great job this week in Detroit, opening their doors. So it's hard, because as much as we would like to play, trust me, we would love to go to new cities, see other places, see other areas, but you just have to build them around certain signature events and majors. And for us, but if you look at this week, I think we've got a very strong field. I think it's the strongest field at the Rocket Classic that we've had in the past, and that just shows signs that more guys want to come and play.
I have as a follow-up is this is one of the few tour stops, and I think it's just Eastlake is the other one where it's actually within the downtown city confines boundaries. You were a big part of the one of the best tournament finishes a couple of years ago. What would they're committed through next year, but then after that it's a question. What would the tour miss? What would you miss if this tournament didn't survive past next year?
Well, it's just communities that we give back. Big cities, like Detroit's not a small city, right? We do go to some stops that are, I would say, on the smaller side, but Detroit's one of the bigger cities I think we go to. And I think, we definitely miss, impacting a community like that. And just, I think when you look at sports, like Detroit's a sports city, right? I mean, it's just, things happen. Like you got the Lions, you got the Tigers, like the Pistons. You got teams and people and fans, and that's a culture. Like we went to Philly this year, and I loved it, because we showed up on a Wednesday, and there were just loads of fans. And when you get that type of sports culture and you're able to bring that out and show them some golf, like it's fun for us. We enjoy it, and that's why I enjoyed it 2 years ago. And hopefully we see a lot more people come out this week, and hopefully that continues down the road.
We're going to go to Adam on the right.
There were also some reports, Collin, that you were trying lots of different putters this week. Are you going to be changing from your current gamer? You have a new putter this week?
Using the same one I did last week. I've used a version of the Soto. It's just, they're honestly just different colors. But sometimes I like to just have a different vibe, and I just roll it down that path. So.
Curious also, what do you think of Keegan Bradley as a potential playing captain in the Ryder Cup?
Yeah.
How he's playing?
Look, right now he's playing as one of the best Americans and one of the best golfers in the world, winning a signature event. The consistency I think he's brought this year. I'm sure there's already contingencies to be put in place, because it's not like it wasn't a possibility that could happen. But that's on him. All I know is that as a captain already, he's done things. And I'm not saying there's been bad captains. I've had great captains my past 2 Ryder Cups, but he cares so much about the team, and he cares so much about representing the United States that it like bleeds out of him, and it bleeds into us, and that just motivates me more. I know I got kicked out of the top 6 after last week. I've got some work to do, but it's like, man, you want to be there. Like you want to be wearing red, white, and blue, because when you have a captain like that, when you have other teammates like that, it's, you want to be there. Trust me.
Back to the caddy change.
Yeah.
Do you know who's going to caddy for you at the British Open?
I don't, and you know, I read your article that you wrote. Like, look, I'm not here to tell people how to do their jobs, but I don't get why you would make me sound bad because you put out my quote that I was playing with Pro-Am partners out front. Those guys are paying a lot of money. They're very important to the community. They're very important to the Rocket Classic. And for you to put out a quote like that, to put me down and saying, hey, wait 2.5 hours. I mean, you called me up on the first tee, you know? So I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. You can write whatever you want. This is America. But don't put me down like that because it's 2.5 hours, Adam.
I thought I was actually giving you credit that you were focused on your Pro-Am partners.
Okay, we can all read it very differently. That's not how I read it. I don't know how, but I'm just telling you, like, I think there's a perspective where people can read it like that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We knew I was going to have media in 2.5 hours. I'm on the first tee meeting my Pro-Am partners as they're teeing off. So on the caddy front, I don't. It's a process that I'm going through. Hopefully we'll find out when the time comes, and I will let everyone know. Thank you.
We're going to wrap it up with one last question here on the left.
You have a lot of candidates for what the best swing of your life is. If it was me, I would vote for 16 at Harding Park.
Yeah.
What, for you, what is the moment where you had the best swing of your life? What did it feel like? What is the moment?
It's just easy. I mean, like Harding Park, the best swing of my life. I'm going to be crazy to say this. So Harding Park was very good, but there was a lot. I mean, there was. It was a very simple golf shot for me. Was simple, yeah. From different perspectives, in relative terms, it was just, you know, it was a normal driver. I had to get a good bounce, everything. One that comes to mind for me would be when I won the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai. It was on 18, par 5, front left pin. I've watched the shot many times on YouTube because I'm like, oh, how do I make it that easy? But it was a front left pin, water all on the left, had 4-iron, I think, out of the first cut, and I hit it exactly where I wanted. I mean, I could miss it in the water, lose the tournament. I could hit it in the bunker, not make up and down. It was picture perfect, and it's rare you get to do that, but that's why we keep practicing. Like I'm telling you, it's inches, margins, centimeters, degrees. We're crazy, but we love it.
All right, Collin, thank you. And with that, we're going to have Keegan come to the podium for his press conference.